Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox back for another episode, and I'm absolutely thrilled today to have with me Kayla Rich. Kayla, first of all, thank you so much for coming and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So, Kayla, what is your role on Mayor of the Night?
My first role was first assistant director to CJ Goodwin. So that was during the filming production process. And since production is wrapped here in post production, I'm heading up the marketing team. So we're trying to get this film on as many big screens across the country as we can.
So, tell us about your role
Mhm.
as first production. What did that entail?
Honestly, it was whatever it took that day. Being assistant to someone like CJ who keeps a really open team with a lot of varying levels of experience. So sometimes on a set day, we would have people who are brand new. Sometimes we would have really experienced folks and everyone in between. Being an assistant to that means playing hostess, playing cruise director sometimes, camp counselor, all the things, making sure that all of it keeps going and everyone's where they need to be. So it's a lot of schedules and tracking people down and being 5 minutes ahead of the game and things like that. But it's also responding to whatever went sideways that day. The weather threw us a curveball or someone was sick or anything that can go wrong on a set. It's just responsiveness, really.
Sounds to me like you were the camp mom.
I'm saying. No, I mean, I've thought about it. Honestly, it's just project management skill set. Really, it's like we've got a task at hand. It looks different every day, but you know what the goal is, the players, and it's just a matter of getting to the finish line.
How did you get into this arena?
So it was a really lucky break for me. My husband, John Rich, was cast as Watson in the Sherlock film. And so I showed up as a supportive, doting wife on set the first film weekend, met the team, Derek and CJ, and saw that they had really made some magic happen in the Texas Hill Country, bringing London to life for us to film in. But the reality was that they needed more help. There was a lot of little things that could potentially slip through the cracks, and they were seeing that really early on. They had everything in place, and they did not want anything to fall apart. CJ asked me to kind of step in and be an extra set of hands, and it evolved as production went on. But honestly, yeah, it's just every single day was a little different with a script as interesting as we were working with.
Tell us maybe the three biggest challenges you had.
Hmm. I think that we were working with a set of really unpredictable circumstances. So that included the weather, like I mentioned. It included the wildlife where we were out in the Texas Hill Country. It had, the land was gorgeous. We could not have been more lucky to have such an incredible set. But the land came with animals of all varieties. So we're talking crickets in the walls to cows to peacocks to everything in between. So it was how do we overcome the insurmountable with people, with nature, with weather, and how do we get it done in 8 hours while we have this time and the crew here? So that was just a lot of learning curve, learning what you can control, what you can jump ahead of, kind of wet the ground if you see something might be coming up the next week. Have a contingency plan in your back pocket, things like that. Know what CJ's willing to let go of, what cannot be let go of, what our real goal here and priority is. Those kind of things were a learning curve, but just learning to take on whatever that was. We'll say that's one. Another was honestly just people managing with a full volunteer team like CJ has. It's incredible what can get done. And like I mentioned, there's all different levels of experience on this set. And with that, there's some gaps and some bridges that need to be built so that everyone can get their job done. If we have someone who just came from the film school and it's their first day on set working with a really experienced photographer, we're going to have some questions and not understand each other. So being here to do that and over there to help CJ and wherever we needed to help some of the actors get ready and wardrobe so we can start on time, just being able to prioritize where to be and when. That was definitely part of it too. And then let's see, a third. It was really interesting for me as a first time assistant director to take a script, be handed a script, read it, and then read it again in a completely different light. And how do you actually make this happen? What are all the little pieces that come up? What needs to be reset between takes? What are the items of wardrobe that might have been misplaced after last weekend? What are all of that kind of thing? You can read the script and be taken away by the story, and then you go back and you read it again, and it's all nuts and bolts. So that was a learning curve and a really interesting experience, a new skill. Mhm.
What's your professional background?
Business, marketing specifically, but yeah.
So, what do you think in your professional
Mhm.
background to you having the success you did as the first director
I
or
think with
first assistant, I should say?
yeah, I think with sales, you learn to respond to whatever you're handed and have the bravery to know you can take it on. And I think that grit is really all it takes to make most things happen in life, and this is no different. So, the willingness to ask a question, learn where you need to learn, be humble, and take the experience that's around you and things like that, and just respond with what's gonna keep things moving. So, that's a ticket in all business, right?
I heard you use the term project management or
Mhm.
PM. Does that include the sort of process management as well?
Some of it. I We were all spoiled to have a really experienced director in CJ Goodwin. This is his 4th feature film, and I can't even fathom the experience that he brings. I don't even understand all of it, but he was really great at making sure we had what we needed to do our job successfully, and it didn't mean that we were always 100% successful, but he was there and making sure that we were on to the next every time. I think so, but honestly, we were spoiled to have CJ really in the driver's seat of most of that. So we were allowed to bring our experience and our additions to the set, but really under his I don't know, his vision. It all had to fit within the vision. So that was a comfort.
Let's talk about your role now
Mhm.
in post production of
Yes.
marketing. Tell us about the steps you're taking to help market this picture.
Yes. So really there's a few different ways that filmmakers these days are pursuing ventures with their feature films. Some of it looks like film festivals. Some of it looks like theatrical distribution. We've chosen to go all in on theatrical distribution. So we are not planning to make any of the festival circuits. We think that the film could do really well, but what our heart is in is really bringing people back to theaters and getting this movie across the country. So for me, that's looked like partnering with a lot of different theater chains and sometimes independent one-off theaters in all different states, including Texas, and seeing what they're open to. When are you willing to have us in your theater? What would it look like for us to make this partnership work? How would it be mutually beneficial for you too? What kind of marketing ideas are you wanting to try for next year, but you don't have someone to partner with? Let's partner and do that. Things like that. So it's a lot of finding the opportunities for this film and being willing to sit down at the table and pursue it, not let it go.
You said something in there I want to pick up on,
Mhm.
which is getting people, I think it was close to getting people back in the theaters.
Yeah.
Why is that so important, or why are you so passionate about
Mhm.
that?
I think that there's a lot of red tape in most industries. And sometimes for creators, especially, I feel like their vision and their passion gets kind of wound up in what might be most profitable for a middleman sometimes and things like that. So I think it's important to show that you can take an independent film and go straight to the source of these theaters and bring a great show to people of those communities and have them actually show up, have it be a win for all three parts. This is not something new, but it's something that we've obviously drifted far away from with streaming. And I think while streaming is amazing and has opened up a lot of doors for a lot of creators in that realm, there's definitely a missing in our hometowns and in our communities. And there's still, in this post pandemic world, there's a desire for family friendly things and just outings and different things like that. And I think that we have all these theaters that have done a great service, and maybe they have hit harder times as they're struggling to find some content coming off of different writers' strikes, acting strikes, the pandemic as a whole. So it's a good time, I think, for the creatives, for the theaters, and for the communities too, to see the value in actually keeping up with this and breathing some new life into it.
You have a big party slash fundraiser coming
We
up. Could you tell us
do.
about that?
So we are doing a second annual Halloween party here in Kerrville, Texas. For all of our Kerrville friends, they're familiar, but we have a mansion in town. It's the River Hill Mansion. It is the ideal spot for a Halloween party. You truly could not ask for better. It's this three-story historic mansion that's been rumored to be haunted for years. It's fantastic. So it's our second year there. What we have is the director CJ Goodwin, all of our cast, including our Sherlock, our Watson, all of our villains. You're going to be able to meet them all. We're raising funds for post production. So as you can imagine, getting into all of these states with the theaters, it's not cheap, it's not free, but it is important. So all of the funds for this party go towards the post production push to theaters. What you can expect at the party is obviously a great time, an incredible venue. We're also adding something new this year. There will be a preview of the movie exclusive to people who attend. So those who are interested in not waiting until 2025 to get their eyes on some of the movie, this is your chance. This is where you want to be. We're going to have a great silent auction too that's really supporting some of the local area vendors and businesses that have been supporting us along the way. So we're really happy to partner with them again and have a new way to spotlight some of them, with all the proceeds again going to the film. So Halloween party, it's going to be October 26th in Kerrville, Texas, and tickets are available online.
Are you taking sponsorships?
We are. We have a few spots left, so I'll be honest, it's a limited number, but we would love to support businesses in the community. We really would.
If someone wanted to find out more information about the party or get tickets, where can they go?
I would say go to SherlockHolmes-Mare That's our website and kind of our hub, but also on social media. We are definitely keeping updates flowing there. So CJ Goodwin, spelled with a Y, is definitely the account to follow. And if there's anything regarding sponsorship or marketing, my name is Kayla Rich, and I can definitely help you with that. But we have a lean and mean team. We work really closely together. CJ is definitely at the helm of this too. We're beating a new path. So it's an exciting time.
Well, Kayla, I wanted to thank you for taking the time to visit with us, and I hope we can continue this conversation.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tom.